Bitcoin has been rallying since the last few days, and this has created the environment on social media that we are back in the bull market. So the question to answer today is, are we really in the new bull market? Has the 4-year cycle broken the model which says Bitcoin is in 3 years of bull market and 1 year of bear market? Is it still valid? To answer all of these questions, the way I want to approach finding the answer is by breaking the price action, the whole price action of Bitcoin into 4-year cycle first. And the way we have done so far is by drawing the distribution lines and the accumulation lines. Now, people who are watching this for the first time, accumulation lines and distribution line, they basically divide the whole price action in 4-year cycle of Bitcoin, where the first 3 years are bull market, that is from accumulation line until distribution line, and then from distribution line to accumulation line, that is a bear market. So whenever the price crosses the distribution line, we have always seen Bitcoin going downwards until it reaches the accumulation line. So it is basically the bear market for Bitcoin. And when the price crosses the accumulation line, then we usually see some drop in Bitcoin's price, somewhere around 25, 30, or 50%, after which it goes sideways, creating some form of accumulation zone, and then this starts the next bull cycle. So far, this rally does not make me convinced that we are in the next bull market. Now, why do I say that? Let's first look at the range oscillator. And here on daily time frame, we don't see much about what do we have to look here. We do see some bullish momentum which happened before the price reached its all-time high. Then we see some drawdowns, some weakness in range oscillator, and now we are seeing some bullish rally. If we go to the 3-day time frame, what do we see is some form of divergence forming. So if I look at this one, this peak in October, and market where the price is today, we see a clear trend that it is going downwards. If we do the same, which is here, the peak in range oscillator, and we mark the peak which happened a few days ago, we see this is going upwards. Now, this kind of behavior where the oscillator is going upwards and the price is going downwards, it's called divergence. But what kind of divergence is that? There are various types of divergence: bullish, bearish. Some of them are straightforward, easily recognizable. Some of them are hidden. We are right now in this block where the price is making a lower low, lower high, and the indicator is making a higher high. You see, from here to here, that's the higher high. The reason why this is a convincing argument that we are not in a bull market, because this is on a 3-day time frame, on a very long time period. We are talking about time period from October until May. That's today. That's more than half of the year. And this kind of behavior usually traps people to get into the market and think that bull market is over. Over here, we did not see a clear divergence, but the weakness was already there. Divergence does not happen all the time. It can happen in the bullish phase, it can happen in the bearish phase, it can be straightforward, easily recognizable bullish divergence, or easily recognizable bearish divergence. But the difficult ones are the hidden divergence, and that's why they are called hidden divergence. Now, when does usually the bull market begin? But before we jump to that question, let's look at Indian oscillator. And here, for the first time, the bearish component has dropped to 0. Now, this shows this is somehow the argument which favors the bullish narrative that we are back in the bull market. We clearly see this is happening, that bearish component has weakened. Has this kind of behavior happened in the past? So in 2022, not really. We did see some bearish component, weakening of the bearish component, but it did not drop to zero. In 2018, same thing. We kept seeing bearish component weakening all the way through the bear market and only briefly gaining some strength when the real drop happened, when the Bitcoin bottom formed for this cycle. But after that, it was only weakening against the bullish component or the signal line. The only time where we have seen the behavior where bearish component drops to zero is in the bear market of 2014. There, the behavior is quite similar. We saw a rally for multiple days. There was a rally from starting, if you consider this as the bottom of the rally, so starting from May up until the end of May or beginning of June, you see it. If you want to go further, consider this as the bottom. That way it is similar to what we are seeing right now. So from April until the end of May, we gained 60% in these 3 months. And that is when the bearish component dropped to zero, bullish component started gaining momentum. Keep in mind that this is a lagging indicator. So price action has already done its job, creating some hype, some bullishness, and then the bullish component still catching up after the price has made a couple of highs, after it has gained by 60%. But what happens next? The bullish component goes sideways and then it drops to zero. Here it drops to zero. The price over here is going sideways, which is in sync with what we are looking here. And then as soon as this drops to zero, we see that bearish component starts gaining strength against the bullish component, and we see price going down all the way until it bottoms. Now, the bottom usually happens when price crosses the accumulation line. So until the distribution line, the interval between distribution line and the accumulation line, this is purely the bear market. What we see here are bear market rallies. They are not start of a new bullish trend. You see here, the rally was around 80%, 78, 80%. There were multiple rallies. That's 45%. What do we see here in the last year's bear market, last cycle's bear market? 34%. And here, probably similar. That's 31%. Now, this is a clear sign of bullish component gaining momentum. But what if price decides to go sideways and then make a drop, go sideways, make a drop again, go sideways, and then start its new bull rally? This would be pretty similar to what we have seen in the past. There is usually a drop after the price has crossed the accumulation line. And for us, based on halving cycle, which happened over here, the accumulation line comes down to 25th, in the week of 25th September. Or rather, not the week, but in the week of 21st September. When we look at the weekly time frame, the bullish component is still above the bearish component. The bearish component is still above the bullish component. Over here, we have the same thing. When the bearish component loses, it takes weeks before the bullish component starts gaining momentum. And it takes weeks that we see Bitcoin forming a bottom for the cycle. So when do we see bull market coming in? It's again looking at the divergences. When we see the indicator making a higher low and price going lower low. So over here, if we zoom in, what happened here? This, let's get rid of this one. Over here, this one, rather this one, made a lower low, and this one made a higher low. And this happened after quite a long accumulation period, price crossing the accumulation line. What is it here? The same thing. A short divergence, but still quite a divergence going upwards. Over here, it's going upwards, making a higher low, lower low. So all of this aspects of technical analysis basically tells me that this is just another rally which we have seen usually in the bear market years. So that's basically midterm years. And getting hyped up about this rally and thinking that we are in a new bull cycle, I think it is a bit premature. If the indicators tell me otherwise, that we are back in the bullish rally, then this model would basically not be valid about looking at distribution lines and accumulation lines and thinking in a way that price, when it crosses accumulation line, only then the Bitcoin happens. So this model would have to be thrown away. But so far, this model is pretty intact. This rallies has been happening in every single cycle. I think that would be all for today's video. If you liked the analysis, then do hit the subscribe button. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.